Folks, welcome. Fuck, ravioli in the throat. Welcome back. This is episode 6 of 7-Eleven Boys. After our historic 5th episode, we're back for a 6th one. My co-host, Connor McFarland, is not here. I don't know where he is. We have a 7-Eleven very near and dear to our hearts to talk about today, but Connor's not here. Kind of just waiting for him to check in. Maybe I'm doing this one solo and I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm texting him. He's not reading my texts. All right, well. I'm just gonna eat my dinner till he gets here. No, Momo, no. No ravioli for you. Cats don't eat ravioli. Looks like I'm getting a call here. Hold on.
This is a collect call from the Shelby County Department of Corrections in Memphis, Tennessee, from inmate.
Nick, it's Connor. Pick up. Lizzie Main is dead. Pick up, man.
Press 1 to accept and 2 to decline.
I think I'll press accept. Hello?
Nick? I'm not going to make it to the recording tonight. Some things happened. It looks like there was a mix-up with paperwork or something happened in courts. And I am in Memphis City Jail. I think I might be in trouble. The Smokies got Glizzy Main. Glizzy Main has been murdered. There was an incident at a MAPCO. I wasn't involved, but he's dead. And I'm being held here on 16 counts of some pretty serious felonies. There was some mix-up. My fingerprints evidently got all over everything. They're calling me the Bugles Bandit, the Bugle Main. When they raided my apartment without any evidence, they found a lot of bugles.
Bugles, huh? I didn't even know they still made those.
Oh, they're alive and well.
Huh.
And they have them at a lot of MAPCOs. I got a lot of them, believe me. But I don't have a lot of time because there's a lot of things going on here. I don't know what to do here, man. But I'm calling in. I'm fulfilling the contract. I'm calling in to do the show.
Okay. I'm not really sure. Are you in a safe place?
Safe? No. There's a lot of unsavory activity going on in here. I'm a little concerned. I am going to need you to send me some of the Patreon money because I've been having people lend me honey buns, and I'm in some debt now. I'm in some trouble.
Well, this kind of changes things, Connor. Well, I guess I could start. Are there any 7-Elevens where you're at in the Memphis jail?
No, not a one. There's commissary, but there's no 7-Elevens. There is a guy called 7-Eleven who I've been getting the honey buns from, but he's, you don't want to shop at this guy's store. I already owe him a lot of money for honey buns. In fact, that's part of the reason I'm calling too. I wanted to see if you could maybe wire me some of that, or I have a Cash App card that I can use in here. If you could send me maybe like $60, $70, $100.
Whoa.
From the Patreon.
Whoa. What is the going rate for a honey bun these days?
Well, they're about in jail in Memphis. They're about $60.
$60. Okay. Well, you take that minus the 44 cents you owe me.
I told you I'll pay you the 44 cents. I can't.
All right. Well, You keep saying you will.
You can't even Venmo 44 cents. I told you this. It won't let you send amounts that small. And this is not the time. I can't send any money from in here. I don't have my wallet.
But you can get money though. You can get money, but you can't send money.
I can't send 44 cents. Where am I even what am I going to mail you the change? I don't have a wallet. There's no currency in here.
I thought you just said honey buns were currency.
Yeah, but you got to use Cash App. It's a whole clandestine system in here that we're using. I'm working on it.
You swear?
Yes, I swear. Look, I need that. I'm going to need that money. He's asking me right now. Oh, I'll ask. I'll talk. Okay. Hold on a sec, Nick. 7-Eleven's trying to get. Oh, yeah. No, I'm going to get the honey bun money. He's going to get it from the Patreon. Yeah, because the people that listen, they're fucking idiots. I don't know why they're paying us to listen to this. Yes. All right, I'll ask him about that too. Oh, okay. I don't need to see the knife again. You showed me the shiv earlier. I get it. Yeah, all right, I'll ask. I don't know why he's asking me this, but he wants to know if you can kind of just explain on air how to sign up for the Patreon.
Oh, well, good question, 7-Eleven. The easiest way to sign up for the Patreon is to check the link in our Instagram bio. You'll see the Patreon link right there. You can subscribe to our Patreon for only $5 a month, or you can enter our free membership tier. We're going to begin posting exclusive updates and content very shortly.
Thank you, Nick. That's very informative.
I'm glad. You know, while you're in there, I do have a question.
Okay.
You know, Wang and I have a bet going. What kind of baking soda do they have up in there?
I swear to God, Nick, you said you weren't going to bring that. I told you I'm not going to do the show anymore if you're going to keep bringing this up. We're not cooking up crap. Well, there probably is baking soda in here because there seemed to be a lot of stuff going on. But
yeah, I mean, how else are you going to make your, hot ice or anything like that, without baking soda? It's preposterous. It can't be done.
Is this what you think the listeners want to hear? You think they want to hear about us bickering over baking soda?
I'll tell you what. So it seems like you are in a bit of a quandary. I'll reach out to Wang, your lawyer, and we'll work on getting you that. But in the meantime,
Wang is here. I'm looking at Wang. He's on the other side of the room for me right now.
How'd Wang?
He's in here on it's a completely unrelated thing. Him and this guy Ice House, where they drove a truck into I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what happened, but he's also in here, so he's useless now. I can't get anything through him.
Lord Jesus, pray.
Like something involving like a small truck and a dental office. Apparently they were driving a truck full of dentures across state lines, which evidently is very illegal. It's one of the most illegal crimes anyone's ever been arrested for, apparently. So he's in here too. He's got some shitty lawyer of his own right now. He's looking at time served and probation. Well, Nick, if it's not too much to ask, when you're sending the money, could you also send a notarized letter to the Memphis City Judicial Criminal Justice Department, to the judge and the DA? All I need you to say is that the alleged armed robberies and the bugle thefts that occurred, that they were part of satire for the show, and it was stagecraft. And say maybe that you were involved and you were the conspirator and that it was all a joke or a goof.
Listen, man, I haven't had a bugle in 26 years. I don't know if I feel comfortable fibbing in that way.
Well, if you send me that money, I got a storage unit in Midtown in Memphis with about 600 cases of Bugles. I got the nacho cheese flavored ones. They won't let us have Bugles in jail because people have gotten very seriously hurt from them because, they have very pointed edges. But I can get you a lot of Bugles. They're good stuff. Some 7-Elevens probably even sell them.
What about Mapcos?
Well, I don't know if they're going to be selling them anymore because, off the record, I pretty much wiped them clean out. I would,
That's not off the record.
I would go in and I'd say, Glizzy Main would always be after the money, but the deal was he would get all the cash and I would get, or, he'd borrow the cash from the cash register and I would go and borrow all the bugles. I'd say, and I'd put the gun in their face. And I'd say, you give me all the fucking bugles, man. All right. Give me all the bugles. I'm not fucking around.
Okay. Should I make this out to Connor McFarland, this check I'm about to write?
I'm gonna need you to cash app it to Bugle Main 69.
And that's 69.
69.
And
dot,
can you spell the first part? Is it just spell that out for me?
BUGLEMANE.
Mm-hmm.
69. That's sixer niner. Cash
Okay.
app.
This is really ruining the podcast.
7, 11 boys, 7, 11 boys, 7, 11 boys, 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 7, 11 boys, 7, 11 boys, 7.
I've been sleeping on bugles for years. They're a perfect snack when you think about it because you can put them on your fingers and then eat them off your fingers.
I had no idea that bugles were such an ambidextrous snack treat.
And basically you can get them anywhere that still sells cheese nips.
Oh, so maybe a 7-Eleven or perhaps our friends over in 7-Eleven Singapore or 7-Eleven Canada. You're saying that they would also carry these bugles?
It's possible. I know generally bugles are often at like Dollar General, places like that, kind of off-brand. Bugles haven't really, they sell them at 7-Elevens. I think they used to sell them at the Chevrolet 7-Eleven. I don't know if they still do. Again, there's no 7-Elevens in Memphis, so it's a little hard to do a lot of market research from this current location. 7-Eleven, the guy 7-Eleven in here is a bit of a rough character. He doesn't carry bugles anymore because they put a stop to that after a lot of people got really badly hurt, including Wang. There was a bugles-related riot. It's been a rough 16 hours that I've been in here.
Now, I just Googled bugles. I want to see if there's anybody we could get in touch with that could help us. So I'm on the Wikipedia page for bugles. This is interesting. Apparently, in Jordan, bugles are manufactured by the Haddad Group's Mr. Chips brand. Oh, and in Turkey, they're known as Şiretsa twists. Imagine that. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Well, I tried reaching out. We tried getting an official sponsorship deal with Bugles, and they fucking snitched on us. It turns out they want you to pay for the product. They're still on this Ottoman Empire trip, and they want you to pay for the product. They're like, you can't go in and commit armed robbery to get our products. And it's a very affordably priced. Like the price point is, I would say, incredibly reasonable for Bugles these days. Bugles are a inflation-resistant snack. It's not like Pringles or Doritos where the prices have skyrocketed.
Right. No, they've stayed humble.
But enough of the bugle talk. I think, because I do have limited time here, we should probably get on to the 7-Eleven that we were going to talk about today.
That's right. So this 7-Eleven is the closest one to the Landover Metro. It is located on Landover Road and Kent Town Road in a shopping center that features many other such fine establishments.
I believe that's Kent Village or Kent Plaza. There's a drive-through liquor store, a pawn shop, a carry-out, I believe a beauty supply store. And then there's Checkers is right next to the 7-Eleven, which gives you a pretty good idea of what kind of neighborhood this is. And then there is what used to be Jimmy's Crab House nearby. There's a Dollar Tree nearby. It's now Galaxy Liquors, not Jimmy's Crab House. I used to frequent the liquor store right next to this 7-Eleven. I should also note this 7-Eleven, I believe, moved into this building in 2014 or 15. So it's a relatively new 7-Eleven. Okay. And it's in the part of Landover called Kentland. not at all to be confused with the neighborhood called Kentlands in Montgomery County. Kentland is still one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the Washington, D.C. area, and there's a lot of drug activity in the vicinity.
We saw some of that firsthand. I just want to say some of these give a shout out to some of these other businesses: Ace Cash Express, Buka, America's Best Wings.
That America's
Cash.
Best Wings is pretty good. I've been there.
Good to know. First Cash Pawn, Subway, and of course the good people over at Bitcoin Depot Bitcoin ATM.
There's also on the other end of the shopping center, there's also probably one of the sketchiest Exxons, which is saying a lot. One of the sketchiest Exxons on Landover Road / Route 202, of many sketchy Exxons, and among other gas stations. And a liquor store that, again, a drive-through liquor store. There's a lot of those, specifically in Landover. I know that's a phenomenon that doesn't really exist in other regions, but there are a lot of them in Kentland.
Yeah,
alone.
you know, I only ever really see them in PG County.
Yeah.
And this 7-Eleven, if I were to use a certain 4-letter word, starts with an S, I would say it's sand, because I hated getting it between my toes. Let me tell you. I saw a bunch of locked products, never a good sign when you're in a 7-Eleven. You know, usually you expect this when you're in something like a Walgreens or a CVS, not a 7-Eleven. That's just right off the bat, you're starting in the deltas. I also noticed something that I also use as a barometer for whether a 7-Eleven is good or not is the coffee station. Now, this coffee station had several machines that weren't working, spills, generally out of service. And that to me is a harbinger of bad things to come. If I were to just go through a couple more of my notes here and then I'll pass it on to you. Really, I just want to note one thing that I wrote, and then we'll talk about the 7-Eleven. We'll talk about the area around the 7-Eleven. Floor milk. I can only imagine that I was taking into account some observation of milk that was not where it was supposed to be. It was, in fact, on the floor.
This was in the coffee station.
Yes, of course. So, again, just in general, you know, disarray, dysfunctional, not really the kinds of things you want to see when you're in a 7-Eleven. Usually the kind of thing that makes you turn around and say, fuck it, I'll just, go somewhere else.
And I'll point out, to let folks behind the curtain a little bit, we did this review several months ago. I would say probably now about 7 months ago. So we're both a little hazy. And obviously I've had a lot going on that has distracted me, including going on right now. But I would like to give an anecdote from when I first started going to the 7-Eleven, when it first opened around 2015, 2014, that the glass window in front of this 7-Eleven, because I used to go there a lot. I worked at a nearby produce distributor for a while, and they had they would put up, pictures of people that were caught stealing or seen stealing on camera that are banned, like paper printout pictures. And there was a time when the entire door and window were completely covered with these pictures. And this, mind you, is at a brand new 7-Eleven. And it's just different guys wearing ski masks. And it was not a good sign. I remember when I had to go to that 7-Eleven while we were at work, and this would have been late at night because it was a night shift. And one of the bosses referred to the shopping center as Murder Town.
That's catchy.
Fitting.
That's fitting and catchy. I feel like I notice 7-Elevens like that a lot of the time, where, at a certain point, the utility of putting up wanted pictures kind of gets lost when it's every sixth customer is robbing you.
And personally, I just can't imagine what would go through someone's head to think that it's okay to go into a 7-Eleven or let's say a Mapco and pilfer or rob. I mean, who would do that? People like that honestly belong in jail.
You know, Connor, let me afford you this opportunity to explain why what your situation is slightly different or perhaps entirely different than what we're talking about right now.
Well, it's not even comparable. I mean, I'm a martyr. I've become an enemy of the state. MAPCO has decided that they want to dig up these draconian laws that say you're not allowed to borrow from their stores or sample free products. When you go to a mall, Nick, and you can attest to this, you know, a mall food court like at PG Plaza Mall, which has a great food court, despite there's been, you know, a few shootings there over the years, but otherwise great food court, food is good. They give out free samples. And since MAPCO generally doesn't give out a lot of free samples, they're a subpar convenience store. I mean, they're at like Royal Farms level. Which we'll talk about that another time. They don't give out free samples. So I was like, well, I have to sample the products. And sometimes I have to sample a lot of them. And I have to send out samples to other people. I've basically become an unofficial Bugles brand ambassador. And I would grab Bugles from them. And sometimes you have to do that with excessive force and use harsh tactics because that's what's effective in this world. And maybe the state of Tennessee doesn't understand that. The Shelby County sheriffs, the U.S. Marshals who came and grabbed me from Mississippi, they didn't seem to understand that. That it was also clearly done as satire. Glizzy Mane got murdered by the police because he fired a fully automatic weapon at them. But it was part of the satire. It was part of the brand ambassadorship. It was part of something greater than ourselves.
It's just utter woke nonsense.
Exactly. I am incarcerated right now because of woke, because they don't understand that I was exercising my First Amendment rights, clearly my Second Amendment rights. They're saying like, well, fully automatic weapons that were bought from Chechen rebel groups are not legally protected because you didn't purchase them legally. You're using homemade bullets that are not safe. And they're also claiming that that's why Glizzy Mane was killed by one of the homemade bullets that we were using because we've been recycling them because we're going green. It's nonsense. I'm not like people who go into one of these stores and just pocket things like Skittles or something or a pack of gum. You know, we were making a statement, a stand against tyranny, against corporate monopolies, against MAPCO. Why are there no 7-Elevens in Memphis? There's no 7-Elevens anywhere in that region of Tennessee, Mississippi, or Arkansas. We were taking a stand, and we are martyrs. They tried to assassinate me. They did assassinate Glizzy Mane. I'm not going to even use his real name because I don't want to put it out there, but he's not coming back.
Yeah, you know, this just kind of proves my point here that 7-Elevens are dying, and they're dying because of wokeism. And your story illustrates that perfectly. Wokeism is killing 7-Elevens with this new age bullshit. The immigrants and all of it is due to woke 7-Elevens. And they think that putting these pictures on the door is somehow going to stop it. No, let me tell you something. Wokeism is coming. Let me tell you what it means. It means floor milk. It means taquitos with spores growing out of them. It means fucked up iced coffee. And it means that you got some old lady, you know, outside the shopping center and you're trying to leave and she's trying to fit into a space that's 1 meter across. And you're like, what the hell, lady? You'll never fit in that. You're driving a fucking Lincoln Continental. Like, what are you doing? Nevertheless, she persists. And you're just like,
it was pretty remarkable.
Drive.
There was, because she fit into the spot, but there was like no possible way she'd be able to open her door far enough to get out. It was impressive.
None at all.
But also, it was funny because the entire shopping center parking lot for this strip mall is right behind it. So there's really no shortage of spaces where you would have ample room to park and get out of your car.
Nope.
Usually, this is a 7-Eleven where there's usually, unlike other 7-Elevens in PG County, this one usually has an occupied police car where there is a police officer in there, because this is an area where like the narcotics unit and SWAT team hang out a lot. And they're probably the ones stealing the most out of that 7-Eleven.
Honestly, I mean, this is where it's heading. And as soon as we leave this wokest 7-Eleven, we drive through this land of forsaken billboards where we're met with the sallow expression of the old Science and Kirk sign, hearkening to eras past.
Yeah, and Landover is still, it's kind of weird because they're still trying to develop it. Like that area is pretty industrial. And then, right behind the 7-Eleven in mention there's still affordable apartment complexes back there. I worked with a few people that lived back there, and they had to deal with people smoking PCP and SWAT teams raiding the apartments a lot, people smoking crack in the laundry rooms. There's a lot of stuff going on in this neighborhood. But as to the 7-Eleven itself, I remember the shelves being pretty barren. This 7-Eleven has definitely gone down in quality. I do recall it being a fairly decent 7-Eleven when it first opened.
Well, that's
and now
the lore. That's the lore of the new 7-Eleven. We experienced this on that one Route 1 7-Eleven that was also new. And then, Lord and behold, it sucks now 7 or 8 years later.
Yeah, and this one, I will say I like, maybe just because I have better memories of this one, I like it better than that one in Riverdale Park. I'm never going back to the Riverdale Park one after how we were oppressed, for lack of a better term. Kentland one, yep, the Kentland one. I like Kentland. I want businesses to thrive over there, but it was dismal. It was a dreary situation. Maybe it also doesn't help that we do a lot of these reviews in the middle of the afternoon when 7-Elevens are, you're catching like a lot of stuff left over from the morning, and they haven't started putting out the late night stuff. But either way, the review process here, there's got to be consistency to the quality. And there was milk and creamer all over the floor. And because of how woke they are, you might remember this, when we went in, most 7-Elevens in, most of the DC area will not let you use the bathroom in urban areas. They made us use the bathroom. They said, you can't come in here without using our bathroom. I was a little taken aback by that. I mean, where do they come off? They made us go in there.
Yep, required, yep.
I mean, it was like that last scene in Blair Witch Project where they make one guy stand on the wall and the other person's watching, to use more Cuddy early 2000s references here. They made us both be in the bathroom at the same time as part of this woke 7-Eleven. This would never fly at 7-Eleven Hong Kong or 7-Eleven Australia. 7-Eleven Australia, which is also, I assume, pretty progressive, but they wouldn't make you do this. It was crazy. But Nick, I do think also because there's a large group of people waiting to use a phone who are looking at me very cross, because we're really overpacked. It's also like 90 degrees in this jail. Let's move on past this wokeness. I know we're probably going to have Jordan Peterson or someone like that on in the future to talk about that. And let's review this 7-Eleven.
So this is definitely below mid for me. D bonus points, or demerits, if you will, due to woke. And I agree with you about their ill-fated customs. I'm going to go ahead and I'll start with the overall. We'll give it a 3 out of 11. The 3 points.
Oof.
The 3 points that I would assign are, it was, like you said, fairly easy to park, and that counts for something these days. And they did do something about the window. The window's no longer covered, and you can see through the window now. Clearly, there's at least some self-awareness from the 7-Eleven that maybe things need to change. But everything else, the deltas speak for themselves. And for the other rating out of 7, which I've already misappropriated mentally.
So it's 3 out of 11?
3 out of 11 overall.
Okay, and then the vibes
the vibes, yes. See, I've already misappropriated mentally things due to the 7-Eleven. It's got me off kilter. The vibes, I'd also go with a 3 out of 7. there's sometimes a charm to when a 7-Eleven is like comically bad, like this one. And I think our low expectations going in certainly assisted that as well. So I'm feeling a solid 3 for 3 here.
Okay, that's pretty bad. I'm not going to be as critical because, as you said, I think there's quite a bit of charm to a 7-Eleven where there's also a lot of people milling around out front, a lot of loitering going on. I think that's part of the experience of a good 7-Eleven. I would say this 7-Eleven, yes, has a lot of grit. It has a lot of character, much like the one we wanted to review on Sheriff Road and Division Avenue Northeast, which has since been shut down. As I imagine this one may be someday. This is what I've seen referred to as a crackhead ass 7-Eleven. There's a lot of sketchy characters. I mean, a lot of very fine folks as well. There's a lot of people who work around there. A lot of, local people come to the 7-Eleven. It's great. But it gets a good cross section. There's also a lot of shady characters, as illustrated by how many people have been caught or seen stealing there. I'm going to give it for vibes because of that, because I think I kind of like that element of it. I'm going to give it for vibes a 5 out of 7.
Ooh.
Now, for overall rating, I mean, it's a classic good Inner Beltway PG County 7-Eleven. It has the excitement and danger that you want, and a lack of actual good quality snacks or beverages, and not really good coffee, it doesn't seem like. But
for sure. So
for quality, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 11. Only just a little bit higher than you are. Mostly just because I really want to reserve those really low ratings for 7-Elevens that really suck. But, this 7-Eleven is bad. I'm tempted to give it a 3, but the vibes are almost where you want them to be, but the quality is just not there. And the bathroom thing was weird. Making me go to the bathroom in front of my friend. They didn't even know we were doing a review, mind you.
No, this was just the standard pump and dump, if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would say mine is on the high end of the 3.
I think, we've done a good job talking about this 7-Eleven. Hopefully, maybe we'll even have a guest on who can further expound upon the quality of this 7-Eleven. Hopefully, I'm going to be getting out, I think, pretty soon. They said realistically, after the trial, probably, I expect to be home by Christmas, but they are telling me maybe sometime in the next 16 to 25 years I should be getting released. They're going to send me to some other place. I think there's some mix-up where now they're saying they're going to send me to an actual penitentiary. I'm also told there's no 7-Elevens there, but it's possible.
Well, if you need a character witness, ring me up.
7-Eleven boys, 7-Eleven boys, 7-Eleven boys, 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 7-Eleven boys, 7-Eleven boys, 7-Eleven boys, 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 boys,
This is really ruining the podcast.